Who's banging?
I don't know. One of them children is.
Computer. Announcement.
That's we live.
What's the announcement?
Hey, Kaya, could you stop banging like that, please?
Oh my goodness.
Announcing.
We live, but sure we. Hey, Kaya, could you stop banging like that, please?
Okay, we're back.
That's called the Goddess way. Live or not live, whatever. Act like she. What's she doing up there? What was she banging?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Okay, we're back, guys. Sorry, we had a little technical difficulty, but we back now. How you guys doing? Happy Sunday once again. Bae, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Dad, what was the announcement?
Oh, Lord. How do you turn this off? I forgot how to do that.
I don't know. Just turn it down. That's what happens when you have too many Alexas in your house. Turn it down. Do not disturb. My goodness. All right, guys. How y'all doing today? Hi. We're so happy to see. Well, we can't see you guys. But hi, everyone. We see that you're viewing. Right, babes?
Very happy. I see 3 people so far. I was just typing something. You finally got me to do this like I said before.
Yep, finally.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have some conversation today. That's it. Just a little bit.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Well, communication is number one. I meant to put that on there. I should edit and put, we're going to have talking about communication today. Right?
Sure. Communication. The pinnacle of a relationship.
Look, there it goes. Communication in marriage. Boom. Popped up. There it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah. How important is communication, babe? How you think we've done communicating with each other after almost being married 16 years now?
Well, actually, shouldn't we pray first?
Oh yeah, I guess we should.
Yeah, that's one way to communicate.
Yeah.
Communicate with God first, then we'll talk about communication.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
Okay, Lord, thank you for this live. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to just have a good time and to talk about communication and how we dealt with communication and how we dealing with communication in our marriage, Lord. Thank you for everyone that's viewing, and I pray, God, blessings over your life, over your family, over your marriage, and over your relationships. Lord, I pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so we're going to be talking about communications and how we deal with it. So this October we'll be married how many years, Pedro?
16.
You better know the number.
Who you not? Do I know? Do you know the number?
Yes, I know the number.
Whatever. October 3rd, what?
2005.
Wasn't it 6?
No, it was 2005. Don't play
You
no
sure you know how
game.
to count?
Wait a minute, was it 2005? Let me think. Dang, was it?
It was. I thought you think
What is wrong with you? You play so much, I swear.
I do.
I promise I was thinking to myself, was it really 2005? Oh my
Because
God.
I always used to think October 5th because of 2005.
Right.
So I was going to say sometimes October 5th. I'd be like, no, it's October 3rd.
Oh my goodness.
It's October 3rd,
yeah.
2005.
Yeah.
About 9:30 in the morning. Woke up. Decided. We communicated that morning.
We communicated
I
very
said,
well.
hey, you want to get married? Went to them down to the courthouse.
Yeah.
I had on a pink shirt, black jacket. You had on a
Pink dress, didn't I?
Yeah. Yep. You had just got off. You was about to go to work.
I was just about
I
to
had
go
just
to
got
work.
off work. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See how that early love get you going? You just
Yeah.
that early love have you like, let's get married. And look at what we did. We got
Yeah.
married and been married for 16 years coming.
Yeah.
It's
a
been
long 16 years. I'll
it's
tell you
been a
that much.
blessing. Good and bad,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
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 But one thing I had to learn, one thing I think communication was a hard thing for us in the beginning.
Yeah, it was definitely a hard thing. I think because I was older and you was a little younger. You was only 21.
Yeah.
And
21
I was
and
30.
yes.
So I knew how to communicate a little bit better than you. And even though I was communicating to you, you had a lot of people in your ear that was messing up your what would you call it?
Wait a minute.
The wires.
How you communicate better than me?
I did communicate better than you. I communicated because I knew what I wanted. I communicated to you what I wanted from the jump. 2 weeks in, I told you what I wanted.
Right.
So I did communicate.
Yeah.
Now, as the marriage went on, as we got married and went, I probably lost a lot of that communication, I admit.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I did communicate what I wanted. And then, you know, we went down the road, and a lot of people didn't like me because I had 2 kids and been married twice before and all that stuff. It was my 3rd marriage.
Right.
And then, some things happen and stuff. But, communication has always been an upfront thing. I mean, I haven't always communicated the best way, but I have communicated more than ever have anybody else.
I'm talking about in the sense of like, buying something or getting something, or even,
I never communicated with your dad.
Right. Or even if we,
I admit, I totally admit. I don't know. I'm gotten better now. Probably the last couple of years, I do communicate that better.
Right.
But back in the day, I'll just show her something.
Yeah, and
you want to tell that? Look real quick.
Listen, no, real quick.
Christmas Eve, Giants Super Bowl. Giants were going to the Super. They wasn't in the Super Bowl yet.
What year that was?
I can't remember, man. That was
It was early on in our marriage, though, wasn't it?
That was early. So we've been married 16. So I think it was their first Super Bowl.
Right.
They won 10 years ago. So maybe one day they won. I think it was. I don't remember, man. All I know is I had Bryce and Johanny with me.
Right.
You was in the car.
Two other children.
And I went into Walmart, and I'm walking down through Walmart, and what happened? Oh, all of a sudden, over the loudspeaker, it comes on, one-time deal only, 50-inch TV, blah, 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 blah. On sale now for like $400.
Oh my goodness!
And I swear, when he said that, I looked, and right in front of me was the TV. So I was like,
"Wait a minute, Johanny when Bryce was with us."
Yeah, it was only one TV. It was only one TV, and it was sitting me. It was like right in my face. So I put my hand on it. It's mine. I said, "Oh, Tyler's gonna be pissed at me." I didn't communicate. Hey, there was no time to communicate. I had to make a.
I don't think you knew what the word communication meant.
Listen, I had to. Yeah. Johanny put 2010 going into 2011.
Oh, right,
yes.
right,
yeah,
oh,
boy. I knew he would remember. Oh, hey, Joe. I know you was watching. Hi, what's up? That's my son, Johanny, 24, single and proud, looking for,
Stop it, Joe. Get back to the story, please. Get back to the story.
So I walk outside. I got the TV. I think we had money. We had a decent amount of money then because I was getting paid through my boss. And I walk outside, and I'm pulling this TV, and Tyler's just looking at me, and she's like, "What the heck did this guy got?" And I come out to the car.
Look, I was so mad. I was like, "PJ, what the HELL?"
I bought a TV. What the hell you bought a TV for? Hey, it was on sale. I don't care if it was $2. What you buying a TV for? And then I was like, yo.
Okay, so wait a minute. So after he bought this big giant TV, no less, we lived in this room where
it was an apartment.
No, it was a house, but I'm just saying.
It was an apartment. It had one room, a bedroom, a kitchen, and a bathroom. And it was, the living room was the kitchen, the dining room, and the family room.
Okay, but let me finish though. Husband. So the thing was, we put this big giant TV in our room with a king size bed, no room to really walk.
No. We had the other TV. We had my Aunt Tanya's TV. That was that big 35 tube TV.
Either way,
that TV didn't have no bed in it. It was the living room.
No, I'm talking about when you bought that TV from Walmart.
We put it in the living room.
No,
it was the TV. We didn't have it in the TV. No, we never put it. We could. I wanted to, but we couldn't fit it in there because the dresser and everything else.
Oh, that's right. We couldn't fit it.
I tried. Trust me, I tried, but it wouldn't work. I was like, man, I have to put it outside.
Man,
I have to put it out in the living room.
And no less after that, after he bought this big giant TV. So one day I'm cleaning up and I'm looking inside of this storage thing. Right next to our bedroom.
So much.
No, right next to our bedroom. And it was another TV in a box. I was like, Peter, where you get this TV from?
I was waiting for the right time to tell you had it.
I got to the point. I said, you know what? I don't even care. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's all you had to say to me. When you say I don't even care,
I don't even care.
I went crazy.
Do what you gonna do.
I went absolutely crazy. I was about all kind of TVs. I was a show with TVs.
All type of electronic devices.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think, but on the seriousness part of it, communication for me in our marriage was when things went bad, I had to make sure I didn't share all of that information with my family. Because, you know, the minute, or even your close friends, the minute you share something bad going on in your marriage, it's like they remind you of it forever. So no matter if we, I'm sorry, my daughter coming in with the password. I can't believe she just did this and we on live.
That's the joy of being live. But even beyond that, it's just communication is key, because without communication, you don't know what's going on in a marriage or in any relationship. And it allows you to be, even if it may hurt the other person's feelings or hurt the other person's ego or whatever,
right.
Communication is always good, because now we're at a point that I communicate. Even if I know you're going to get upset, I'm still going to communicate, because I think sometimes as in relationships, especially men, we don't communicate. Even women, because the first thing we'll say, well, we know what you're going to say, or we know what your reaction is going to be.
Right. And
so we'll say, you know what? I didn't want to say it because I knew what your response was going to be. But you know what? You never know. And I tell you all the time.
No, I used to
Wait, let me finish. Because I apologize for cutting you off. Let me finish, because there's been times where you didn't communicate something with me because you say, you knew I was going to get mad. And I'm like, but you didn't even give me a chance to get mad. Like, let me show you if I'm actually growing.
Right. That's
as
true.
A person.
That's true.
Or as a human being, or as a husband, or as a father, or as a family man, to show you that, hey, my response may be totally different than what you think it may be.
Right.
So communication to me is always good. And it goes the same thing for you. Like, even though I know you may be mad or you may not be,
right.
I'm still going to communicate with you, because I want you to know what's going on.
Right.
And if you get upset, then at least you know what's going on, and then it won't be like we get a letter in the mail, oh, this XYZ, or
right.
or somebody shows up at the door,
right,
or something like that, and trust me, that's happened too. So it's good to communicate, because when you communicate, it just opens up the whole plethora of everything that's going on around you in your relationship,
right,
and it allows for no misunderstandings. Because in all honesty, like, I told you everything about me,
right,
and communicated to you with that. And that way, if anybody came to you and said, well, your husband did this, you'd be like, well, I already know. He already told me.
That's true.
Really?
The thing is,
he already told you?
Right. The thing
he really told you that?
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is, guys, when we first met, he told me, he was like, look, I've been married before twice. I have children. But then for me, I had to make a decision then. Am I going to commit to this guy? Am I going to love this guy enough to know that he have a past? That he has been married before twice. He have children. Was I even ready to be on-set mother? You know what I mean? Because I had, stepchildren that I didn't really, know. But I love them now. I must admit, I love my stepkids. I don't really call them stepkids. I just call them Bryce and Johanny, because that's what they call me, Miss Tara. That's what they used to call me. And I always had a lot of respect for them because they respected me. And so with that being the case, I really grew to love them. And now they are grown men living their lives, doing good for themselves. And I'm really happy to see them in what is the space that they in now. Seeing them from a young age. When I met them, how old were they? 10
and 11.
10 and 11.
And they actually remember things about you that you didn't even realize they remember.
Right.
They tell me all the time, I remember Miss Tara did this. I remember Miss Tara did that.
Right.
And one thing I'll say, communication is also key, because what I communicated to my kids was, I'm not saying that you have to like Tara. I'm not saying that you even have to care for her. But by all guys with green is on this earth, you're going to be respectful to her. Because if you're any disrespectful to her, and Tara will tell you, when it comes to that, that's a big stickler of mine. It's no disrespect. I don't like disrespect for children. I cannot care less for it. I will beat the skin off of you for being disrespectful. Right. Not literally, but you will get in trouble. They was never disrespectful.
They was never disrespectful. And even
to me. They had a couple of issues, It was hard because there was a lot going on, ex-wives and things like that. But that's for another day. Right. But communication. We have a comment here about an argument. From Sheldon. Well, for me, communication in the midst of an argument is always different, because every couple's different when it comes to an argument. It depends on how hard the argument is, how hot the argument is.
Right.
Like Tara, she's a little
For me, I get a bit emotional.
You're cray cray. I don't care. You're cray cray.
No, for me, I'm like
you're cray cray. Thank you very much. You go off the deep end. You're like a police officer. You shoot first, ask questions later.
I'm sorry. I'm just that way because when I'm in it and I believe in what I feel, I'm going to express that.
Even if you're wrong.
Even if I'm wrong, I'm going to stand to it because I'm like, you know what?
Even stubbornness.
But you know what? Likewise, Pedro. Because one thing about Pedro get mad. Don't you, Pete?
No, I was different. I was a different kind of mad.
Yeah, you know what? I can attest to that.
I was a different kind of mad. I was very calm when it came to stuff like that. I'd be like, look, can we sit down and talk about this?
Right.
You'd be like, no. And the head shaking and the popping and all the finger snapping.
Wait. Are we talking about in the beginning of our marriage or are we talking about
I'm talking about beginning and now. You ain't changed. I've just learned, over 16 years, I've learned how to, if you're having an argument, and we're trying to communicate, I've learned, and you know this to a fact, I'll just walk away. And you'll be like, what you punk? You just gonna walk away? And we're being real, so I'm being honest. You say that. You be like, why you walking away? You don't got nothing to say? And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna walk away because if I'm gonna say something, I want to be in my right mind when I say it. I'm not gonna let my anger.
Right.
And that's where I've grown as a person.
Right.
Is that before I would let the anger get the best of me, and then the communication would turn into an argument,
right?
Which could turn into a fight,
right? Which
could turn into me breaking something,
right?
Me slamming something, me hurting something,
right?
Like when I broke my hand,
right?
It could wake into it turned into other things,
right?
So now when I communicate with you, and I know that you're not listening, which is half the time,
what?
I just walk away.
Wait a minute. I have learned to listen.
You have learned to listen.
I think listening for me was hard because, at that time,
like, you're always right.
I had to grow into who I am today. I had to learn that, okay, basically I had to really learn how to be submissive. I think I'm doing that now. I didn't do it in the beginning of our marriage or even, the early set on. I don't think I really understood what submission was. And now I sit and I actually listen to my husband, and we try to communicate and when I say listen, I mean actually listen, where I'm understanding what he's saying and it's not going over my head, and I'm like, wait, whatever, I don't care what you're talking about right now, it is what it is. But now I'm actually sitting and talking without any distractions, any phone, nothing, just keeping me from understanding what he's saying. So I think our communication has really grown in that sense. Would you say so?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, because you'll sit there talking to me on your phone, scrolling. Especially now, you have your iPod in your ear, and I'm like, turn off your iPod. You're like, what? I'm like, I can hear it because I have good hearing. And you'd be like, I can't hear nothing. I'm like, yo, like you wanna talk. And the funny thing, you sit down and be like, oh, can we talk? All right, cool. And I put everything away, and then you're still watching the show, and I'm like, how are we going to talk? You watching the show? That's not communicating. Because then when we come back, you're like, you never told me. Yes, I did. I did tell you.
Everybody concentrate differently.
I'm gonna start putting voice memos on my phone so we can record our conversation. So if you say I never told you, this was the date, 12th of December 2020. You said this, and then I'm gonna play it because I swear sometimes we're still working in progress with the communication. We communicate totally better now.
Right.
I do admit we do communicate totally better now. But there's always one thing about communication. There's always room for improvement. You can always improve your communication.
Right.
I think what I find for us for communicating. Actually, you know what, Sheldon? I just thought of something. You know what I actually found? I actually found for myself and Tara, works for us.
Right. Not for everybody. But
if we are separated and we talk on the phone,
right,
we communicate and listen to each other better than we do in person.
That is so true.
Because I think Tara gets irritated because of my facial expression. She'll start saying something and I'll be like, what? I just make a face and it irritates her.
You have
but if she can't see me, she don't know what I'm doing. So I'm like making faces while she's on the phone. She don't know what I'm doing, but she can't see it, so she don't know. So when it comes to communication, we actually have some of our best conversations. And I know that may sound weird.
It does.
But we have some of our best communication on the phone because when we're on the phone, she can be looking at a show. I don't see it, so I'm not going to get irritated. And then we can we can talk about what we need to talk about,
Right.
and then we can come back in person, and then we can finish the conversation, and then we squash it, and then we go on to the next, issue at hand.
Right.
We're not saying that there's an issue, but just to, just back to normalcy, whatever. So I think a lot of times in that way, in our arguments and stuff, we do walk away, and then like she'll call me, be like, "What's wrong? What's your problem?"
But what was the worst thing I think we started off doing at first was texting. And sometimes when you texting someone, and especially if you texting in caps or whatever, you yelling and you screaming at them, and so you taking it the wrong way. So I'm like, who you think you're talking to? So then I'm texting a whole paragraph back,
which I don't answer.
Like,
I don't even read them.
I can't believe you said
Never read your text.
I can't believe you said that. And so after we talk on the phone, it's a difference in the Pedro. It's like it's a different. We able to actually really.
You actually listen to me when we
yeah.
talk on the phone
So I
for
think
some strange reason.
So I think what we should do
Because
from
you
now
love
on.
your phone.
No, no. I think from now on,
I go in another
you should
room.
go upstairs,
All right, that's cool with me.
and I stay downstairs.
That's cool.
If we having an argument, we could just talk
Hey.
on the phone. At least it'll get through.
That's fine with me. We could do that in a heartbeat, baby.
Right. So Janine has said that's my husband. He's always on his phone, which ticks off. Yeah.
Janine, my wife be on the phone 20. I think she's worse. I just thought my mother was bad. My mother had a phone. I don't know if you guys, the older heads remember this picture. There used to be a picture on Facebook, picture all over the world that had when like your phone, and then you have like the straps connected, and it would be like wrapped around your head, and the phone be on your ear. That's how Tara is. Tara, her phone never leave her side. The funny thing is, Tara's phone never leaves her side. But when I need to call her about something important, like she sent me to the store, and I'm like, "What does she want to get?" And I call her, she don't pick up. Oh, that's the one time she leaves her phone downstairs and goes upstairs because she had to go do something.
I got to have my phone attached to me 24/7.
Yes, 24/8.
That ain't even for happen.
24/8.
Theo had said, "Bro, this show must be good." LOL.
Yeah, I see.
Oh my goodness.
What's up, Jermaine? Oh, Jermaine's watching from Jamaica. Jermaine, what's going on, man? Did you enjoy the Olympics? If you're still watching, I know I saw you broadcasting or doing this. I don't know what you was doing. I think you're a sportscaster, right? So yeah, you was in the Olympics.
Right.
I did see you, bro.
Kristen has said, "Yeah, blessings." Who you saying blessings to again?
To Jermaine.
Oh, Jermaine. I'm so sorry.
Jermaine May.
Hi, Jermaine. See, I'm not listening again.
And then Deborah's on. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Deborah.
You know who Deborah is?
No, do I supposed to know?
Yes, you met her in Bermuda.
Oh, right. Hi, Deborah.
That's Javon's mother.
All right.
My Uncle Picky's.
Hi, Deborah. How are you?
Oh, Lord, you don't remember nobody.
Whatever.
I'm the one that don't remember.
So Kristen said, when you text, the message can always be misconstrued.
Oh, definitely, because
Yeah,
you don't know what the
definitely.
person means. They say you don't know if they're being sarcastic. You don't know if they're being funny.
Right.
You don't know if they're being serious. That's why I think we don't try to text. That's why when Tara texts me these long paragraphs, books and stuff, I don't even read them because I know at the moment she's just emotionally unstable. So I just ignore it.
Wait a minute.
Hey, I'm being honest. I told you this. I don't look at your text. I'll call you back and you be like, "Did you read my text?" No.
I think it's rude.
Why not?
I think it's
because
rude,
I'm not
Peter.
wasting my time reading this jibble jabble that you just wrote down.
You know, the best thing is to do is to read the text, so that way I won't have to then discuss it with you when you get home.
Oh, please, you love
that
discussing
way-
stuff over and over again. So what you talking about? You like to repeat yourself. You want, oh, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about that. And the funny thing is, with our communication, our communication's always been, as you said, you was immature in the beginning. And I think our communication was more just about insecurity.
Right.
And
I didn't trust anything.
And we never really, like, money wise, we never really had an issue money wise in communicating.
No.
It was never really money. It was always just more like,
It was for me like, are you going to be back with this person? Or, or something like that. Because, like I said, me coming into being with Pedro, and he had a whole two lives before me. It was kind of like, okay, are you going to go back there? Type of thing. So that I think that was just always a fearful thing for me, being young with no children and going into something. And it's just like it exploded for me. So it was just a lot. So I was just like, how am I supposed to handle all of this and also know he's going to continue to stay faithful to me? I think that was the hardest thing. I never really had someone that really was just for me. that
You
was
had
just
somebody
that.
that cheated on you, so that's why. And
Yeah, I think that's what it was. When you've been hurt,
you just always think the next person's gonna hurt
right?
you.
You think the next person.
I was just too good to be true.
You was too good to be true.
I was taking care of you. I was doing whatever you needed. You didn't have to work. I was like, I got you, and you was just like, I don't know how to handle this. Yeah. So somebody,
I remember you, Theo. Don't worry.
Janine, do they hear you? Unfortunately, sometimes they
Sometimes
do.
they do.
Only and you know what it is? It's not even because we try to have them hear us.
Right.
It's just Tyler's loud. As you all
I
know
think
her as
it's
a
the singing.
singer, right? She's just loud. She'll start yelling, and I'm like, "Why are you yelling?" And you know what she says? I'm just elevating my voice. I'm like, you're yelling. You're not elevating. Elevating is like is going up a modulating.
Monotone, like monotone.
Yeah,
like.
but that's not you yell, and I yell too. But we have got better at that, and we have had to have conversations with our children.
Right.
In a way, I don't think it's such a bad thing that our children have heard us argue, and I say it for this reason, because they know that mommy and daddy's not perfect. Sometimes I think children fall under that pretense of thinking that their parents do no wrong,
Right.
or they do nothing. They don't do anything that is of the wrong variety, and I think sometimes we can use that to say, look, guys, we yelled at each other.
Right.
Doesn't mean we don't love each other. We yelled at each other, but
Right.
we
make mistakes, yeah.
we make mistakes. We're gonna do better.
Right.
And things like that, and then we have prayer and we'll talk about it, and we'll just comfort them, because it does upset our children. So we
It
have
does.
learned to get better and not arguing in front of the children.
Right.
I'm not going to say we still don't do it sometimes, because it does happen.
Yeah, but we
heat
have
of the
gotten
moment.
it's not as I would
But-
say it's not like it it used to be. We have really grown in that sense, because
Yeah.
to see my daughters or see my children period cry because mommy and daddy is having a heated discussion.
Especially the 11-year-old, because
Yeah.
she's so pokey.
Right, especially our oldest daughter. She get very emotional, and she just like, why you got to argue? Why you just can't? She wanted to be, happy times all the time, and it's not always that way. Sometimes I don't agree. Sometimes we don't agree to disagree. Sometimes if I don't agree with something, I'm mad the whole time until I'm to God, calm me down and say, okay, Tara, you need to really think, about this thing. So to see her upset, so to see, is really upsetting. But then it caused us to say, you know what, we're gonna let's just leave it right here. Let's just walk away from it for a minute, and we'll come back and talk later on. So we really try to minimize our arguments in front of the children as much as possible.
Hey, Lee J. Just wanted to say hi, Lee J. And hi, Elia. How you doing? Happy belated birthday. I saw your birthday the other day, but I didn't respond because I don't
Happy
respond on
birthday.
Facebook anymore, because I don't feel like getting a whole bunch of notifications. But I did see your birthday, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Miss you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you're doing well in Bermuda.
And thank you guys for tuning in. We just talking, having a good time, and just being raw and real with you guys right now. But yeah.
But back to that point, I'll say this, more than anything else, communication is key, but you can't communicate if you don't have God in your life.
Right.
And I think we putting God first in our lives and everything that we do. Let me say that, because I want to make sure that was brought up.
Right.
Is that is the key. Prayer, meditation, believe me, a lot of meditation.
Yeah.
And you mean whatever.
No, you know what? Because you know what? Sometimes when we argue, I just think about, then I say, okay, you know what? I really love P. to the sense where I'm not going to allow myself to become angry, because it also depends on where you allow yourself to go. So I think for me, I have to, think about, okay, and is it that I'm not being submissive if I'm continuing on and on and on, and I'm just coming at you and coming at
It's
you?
not
and
even
not
about
letting
you
it
being
rest?
submissive. I don't want you to be submissive, because that's not your style. See, not every woman is going to be submissive to their husband. There's different types of submissiveness, in my opinion. Not every woman has to be submissive. Like, how can I put it? Like, oh yeah, all right, and just give in. I like that you fight back. I don't mind. You're feisty. You got a little fire, and you're a little southern firecracker. I tell people you're a little more southern firecracker. You know, you burn
Right.
from both ends. So it's not, to me, for me, it's not really being submissive. It's more, I just wish sometimes you just let the emotion not take the best of you. So like if I
Right.
say something to you, like you ask me something, you'll say, why you did? And I'm like, but I did do that. And instead of you saying, okay, you then go to the next or something else. And
Right.
and then you just go to something else. So like I can answer and tell you an answer to each question, but then
Right.
you'll pick on something else. And I'm like, hey, you want to calm down for a minute? Why can't you just be happy that I answered your first question or the second or the third question?
Because
and
maybe
be done?
sometimes that first question is that first answer is not what I wanted to hear. I'm
If I
looking
say
for
I do
something
what you
else.
wanted me to do, how else would you want the answer to be?
Another way.
Yeah, that's the problem. That is an absolute problem.
Yeah.
You know, and then communication is definitely key because when you don't communicate, things happen in life that you still to this day ask me, what was wrong? Why didn't you communicate with me?
Right.
Why didn't you tell me something? Or why didn't you tell me this?
Right.
I just saw you, and then like 2 weeks later, you're getting in trouble, and you didn't say nothing to me. You was just with me. Like how you didn't, let me. So communication is so hard. Is a hard thing to do.
Right.
Because sometimes you don't want to worry the other, because sometimes the communication will make the other person worry,
Right.
and you don't want them to worry. But sometimes you have to communicate, because when you're sinking and you're in that little deep hole and you need to get out, communication will get you out of that hole, or at least get you some help,
Right.
or at least get you some understanding, or at least get you that lifeline that you need. So you always need to communicate no matter what, because that will allow people to understand you, your spouse,
Right.
or your significant other or partner, to understand you better and to understand what you're feeling at that time and why you're doing what you did. And then, because there was definitely some things that I won't get into, but definitely some
Right.
things
That's
that I've
another
done
show. That's another show.
that
But what do you
That
think
thing.
about therapy? Therapy helped us a lot.
well, with therapy, we really only had a couple of sessions. With,
But I'm just saying.
Pastor.
But I'm saying the sessions that we did have.
I think the therapy
helped
was
us.
more. I think the therapy we had more is that we just prayed more,
Right.
and we just gave our attention to God and said, Lord, we are broken,
Right.
we are shattered, we are totally unkept, we are totally down in the dumps. We
Right.
need you, especially for me.
Right.
I'm speaking for me, myself, and I definitely was in a bad place in a lot of ways, in different things throughout our marriage. And I had to let God really work with me to help me to communicate with you better.
Right.
And to show that, that I was willing to be a different person and a different communicator than the way I was being. Because you can communicate sometimes, but you communicate the wrong way.
But was it hard for you to become vulnerable? To me, like open up yourself and just tell, because you had a hard time always.
It's always hard for men. I think it's harder
Right.
for men because men don't like to express their feelings. They don't like to cry. They don't like to say what's wrong. They don't like to say what's bothering them. When I'm in pain, when I had kidney stones,
Right.
well, I sat there for 5 hours in pain. He was like, look, okay, you know what? We got to go to the hospital. And I was like, no, I'm not going. I hate the hospital. And I was in
After
some
you
serious
sat in the
pain.
shower for all that time, I said,
Well,
"Pico,
listen,
you
the funny
can't
thing
do
is I
this."
did an interview that day
I
with
know.
the kidney stones, not knowing that it was kidney stones. So I
was
went,
crazy.
it was Old Navy, I think. I got
Yeah.
a job and I got the job.
Right.
That was the funny thing. I had the job with the sharp pain in my side.
This when we lived in America.
Oh man, but
Yeah.
like I said, communication more than anything, we have that communication line open with God, and then the communication would then open up between us.
Right.
Long as we're both on the same page. We can't communicate if you're not on the same page. If you're
Right.
not on the same page, communication will not happen at all.
Especially if you're not willing to open up and just say, look, this is what it is. I think for me, sometimes it was hard for me to tell you how I felt because I didn't want to hurt your feelings, or I didn't want it to be where we have a heated argument. You know what I'm saying? Because I was such a hothead at that time where everything just,
At that time?
when I was younger, everything
At that time, when you was younger?
like I was saying, everything just kind of ticked me off. So I'm kind of
I'm
like,
communicating with you now. You're still a hothead. Just want to put that out there. I like that. And see, she's not even arguing with me because she knows it's true. See, if she thought it was not true, she'll be right now. She'll be debating with me, but she's not debating. She knows what I'm saying is true.
oh my goodness.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm communicating,
Okay.
sweetie.
Okay.
Communicating. Hothead. Firecracker.
Oh, David Steve said, "Nice to you." Thanks, Pastor.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pastor Steve.
Elias said, "Ease up, Pedro."
Hey, Pedro don't know how to ease
I don't
up.
ease up, girl. I go full ball right on. I'm not easing
full
up
blast.
nothing. Full blast, baby. Let's get it going.
Right.
Hi, Aunt Dion. My Aunt Dion is watching.
Is she?
Yeah, Dion Febler.
Oh my goodness.
She didn't say nothing, but she is watching.
I didn't even know she had Facebook.
You weren't trying to say she's old. She can't have Facebook. She's not that old.
I'm just saying, I don't think I'm.
She's still young.
So, Auntie Dion, can you please, hit the request button for my Facebook, please? Okay, thanks. But yeah,
Oh, you mean she's not your friend?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I think
Yeah,
she don't get on often, but she is there.
yeah.
I know we're jumping off the thing.
Yeah, we are. Sorry, guys. But yeah, communication for us it was really something that we still growing right now, even now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Just like you're still in denial that you're not hot, so I'm communicating that you are.
You mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, that's communicating.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm trying to be a good model, especially for my children, but especially for my girls, because I know they gonna model me, and I got to make sure I stay on.
No comment.
On task.
All I gotta say about that, if I know girls are gonna be so hard, we wouldn't have no girls. That's all I'm gonna say. I love my girls to death, but Lord have mercy, girls are hard, boy.
I just know, like my son, he'd be like, "Mom, you okay?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good." He'd be like, "Okay," and he'll go to his room, and I won't see him for half the day. And I wonder, do he keep his distance because he know mommy may ding ding.
Oh, they definitely keep that distance because you may blow up. Yeah, because it just happened the other day. He was like, "Yo, Sky, you need to ease up because mom's gonna blow." He told her. He told her straight up, "Mom's gonna blow. You better ease up." See, he learned it to communicate. So there you go. But yeah, but like I said, that's the number one. Besides God first, communication is definitely second.
Sheldon asked the question.
How life changed since moving to the UK, and what ways have you had to adopt since moving, with the difference between the UK, US, and Bermuda?
Oh, wow.
For me...
Let's start, one at a time.
Go ahead.
So for me...
It'd be all day.
That's not true. But I'm sorry. To answer your question, Sheldon, for me, it's hard for me to adjust anywhere. So when I first moved... Let's go back to when I first moved to New York, when we first got married. So I'm going to start there first before I even hit Bermuda. So when I met Pedro in Birmingham, Alabama, through his niece, and that's a whole story, but I met him through that whole connection. And then we got married, moved me to New York. Now that I didn't like anything about New York. I didn't want to go.
We actually moved to New York because I communicated with you. This is part of communication. I communicated with her, and she didn't like the way I communicated. I had an issue with my children at the time. I think Jahani.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go up to New York, and I was like, "Look, I want you to come with me," but she didn't want to leave.
No.
And I was like, "I got to go to New York." And then I think my Aunt Kim died, so I had to go to New York.
Right.
And then I was like. And then she was like, "You know what? I'm coming up there with you." And it was funny because that's the one time you actually got a job offer. And I told you to get the job so you can get the experience. But he was like, "I can't take the job if you're gonna be in New York." So I was like, "All right, fine." So she came up because I was the way I would drive back and forth. It didn't really bother me to drive back and forth.
I know, but I didn't want our marriage to be a long distance situation. We was already going through situations. I didn't want to then be away from you. And you're in a whole nother state. That was not even fit to happen.
That's true.
So I was like, no, our marriage would break. It would really break if we don't be together because we was already on thin ice. So when you decided to go to New York, I just wasn't ready for the change. I wasn't ready to go to a whole, new state because I'd never been out of Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, where I was. That's all I knew in my family. So to go away and go to New York was definitely a big change for me. I think once time went on and I started working when I was there, we end up moving. We moved back to Alabama, actually, didn't we?
No, we moved to Alabama. Was in Georgia.
Yeah, we went to
Georgia.
Georgia.
Back to Alabama.
Right. But before we went to Bermuda, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once we hit Bermuda, we got to tell that story on another day too, on how all that actually went into play. But when we finally got into Bermuda, For me, I was like, oh my goodness, I do not want to go to a whole nother. I already went to another state, so now I got to go to a whole nother country. I'm like, wait a minute, how strong is my love for this guy? You know, because at one point I told you I wasn't coming. Remember, I was like, I can't come.
Yeah.
And little Pedro was a baby. He was still an arm baby at the time.
Yeah, but I had no choice.
I know. But
I was like, you ain't
But
coming. Hey,
like I said,
that's the one time I can't come get you.
But
so.
like I said, that's a whole nother story, another show for another day. We'll talk. That's going to be our testimony show. Where we talk about how all of that happened. But when I finally got into Bermuda, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm here. When I first landed there, it was hot. I almost suffocated because the heat, because I wasn't used to being so hot, being in Bermuda. And once we got there,
that was one of the hottest summers ever.
It was one of the hottest summers. It was
August
2009.
2009, oh
right?
Oh, the July 9th. I was working out in the sun. Oh my, it was hot.
So once we got there, and I got there, I was just happy to be with my husband because I knew I wanted our marriage to work. And in order for that to happen, I couldn't be absent. So I had to make a decision to. It wasn't, just to make it clear, it wasn't because of my son at the time, because we didn't have the girls yet. So it wasn't because of my son. I went because I love Pedro, and I knew that's what I wanted. And so when my mom had asked me, what you going to do, I said, well, you know what, I'm going to go and see how it works out. Even though it wasn't the
I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. You know why I'm laughing.
I'm trying to be vulnerable right now. Even if it wasn't the easiest, decision for me at the time, I decided to go and give it a try.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I know it's hard for you because you don't like change.
Yeah, and change for me was hard.
Oh, please, change for everybody was hard. I'm probably the only one that changes like the wind because I'm so used to moving around.
Right.
I think growing up a pastor's kid and a Bible worker's son, change for me was like next to none because we went to different places. We had to adjust in our lives so many different times, so many different ways, so many different countries, so many different states.
But see, I was used to stability in my life. Just
I was stable.
Okay, but what I'm just saying
I was not unstable. I was not unstable. We went. My father went to different churches.
No, what I'm saying is, Peter, you're the type of person you'll get up and just you'll just move. I'm not like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm from one place and I'm settled right there. I stayed there for a minute. I'm still getting used to being here.
Well, the thing is for me, if you don't have the gumption or the belief that God has a different view and a way of life for you to go to, I'm going to try that way out, especially if he's impressing on me to try something different. Because you could be in a situation, it's just not working.
Right.
And it's up to you to decide, am I going to stay in this situation and not work? Mm-hmm. Or am I going to go somewhere else and try something different?
Right.
And that's why I think a lot of times I've made my decisions based on that, is that, and I've communicated that with you as saying, we need to try something different because this is just not working.
And at the end of the day, I was a ride or die. I was going to go with Pedro no matter what.
You definitely ride or die.
Right. So
sometimes I wish I could get rid of you now.
So when we was in Bermuda, we got rebaptized when we got there. After we found the church.
No, you got baptized.
Well, I got baptized into the Seventh Adventist Church because I wasn't always Adventist. I was Baptist. My background was that. And once I joined into and learned about the Sabbath and where it all came from and everything, that was a whole new different chapter in my life. Our marriage even changed even for the better once for all of that as well, because I was struggling between, am I going to go to church on Sunday or am I going to go on Saturday on Sabbath? Because for me, I wasn't used to going to church on no Saturday. The Saturday was the weekend for me to do whatever I wanted to do. But once God had opened up my eyes and I think sorry to be so fast, coming to Bermuda slowed me down in the sense of even in my spiritual walk with God, because it allowed me to actually pick up the Bible and read the Word, and God started revealing so much to me. And that's
why communication breaks down, because I agreed that it was before that, but you say it wasn't. But okay, I remember specifically.
But let me get back. But that's the reason we can't talk about that part, because that got something to do with the testimony part.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Moving on. Once I got to Bermuda, I really was able to, and I didn't have nobody, no family or nothing there, but just Pedro. I didn't really know no one. So once I got there, I was studying.
Yeah, family. Yeah, my sister.
Pedro, that's your family. I'm talking about.
My sister Lisa took you in. Like,
wait a minute. Can I finish my story?
Go ahead.
Please?
I apologize.
See how rude he's being. So anyway, once I'm talking about when I first got in Bermuda, whether it was your sister or not, at that time, I still didn't have no family at the time.
No,
because that was your folks, not mine.
Yeah.
So anyway. So once I got there, I was studying the Bible. I started learning about the Sabbath. And I was like, oh my goodness, how come I didn't know about this? And all of this type of stuff. So we went to Somerset Church in Bermuda. We met Pastor Toll and, started learning more lessons and all of that. Got baptized and boom.
Actually, on that point, why did you meet Pastor Toll? Could you actually, for once in your life, listen to me?
Right. I started singing. Pedro started, oh, my wife can sing. And I was like,
no.
I
didn't say Pastor Toll. I went to Brian.
Right.
And I told Brian that you could sing, and I took you. And once I took you to the church and you sang, that was it. That's all she wrote. Then you became more popular than me. Well, I was never really popular, but then you became real popular. Once they heard know you could sing,
right?
Then then you probably have more friends than me in Bermuda, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's cool.
But
I don't mind.
I love Bermuda for what it done for us in our marriage. It allowed us to grow and learn each other even more because we was away from everything that was keeping us from doing what we needed to do in our marriage. And God brought good people in our life. Pastor Toll and who that was, Pastor Smith. We met so many, Dr. Brown. We met so many people that helped us in our marriage.
Oh, by the way, we did.
Who?
We did do counseling. I forgot about that.
I said that.
I forgot about that. But you're right. Yeah, we did do counseling.
You got a mental block somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know why I forgot. Yeah, we did do counseling. Yeah, we did. We did. Well, we did twice, actually, because, I'm going to say this up front. If it wasn't for Pastor Toll, I don't think Tara and I would have been together.
No.
Because we was at a point when she got there, our communication had totally broken down. Mm-hmm. We actually had a big argument one night, and we was living in Bermuda. Mm-hmm. And it's as luck would have it, how Mama had the police go looking for me because they thought that I was holding her against her will.
Right.
And it was funny because the house we lived in.
Mind you, my family wasn't used to having someone living abroad. So, okay, go back.
So, funny thing, the house that we lived in, you had to have a key to get in. I always thought it was a safety hazard, but you had to have a key to get into the front gate. So when the police got there, they couldn't even come upstairs. So I don't know how they got a hold of us. Somebody called us something. And so that night, we had just gotten into a big argument. Tara was crying, and here come the police, and they showed up right as the argument ended.
And then you had
the argument ended.
And what had happened when you said earlier, when we were talking about communication, when you had threw something, he threw a lamp.
And busted the lamp,
to the wall.
Yep.
And so I was like,
the police come up into the house.
Right.
Tara's eyes bloodshot red, broken lamp on the ground, and they looking at us like we're crazy as heck.
Yeah, they was like, "Are you okay, ma'am?"
And they took you in a different room and was talking to you.
Right, because the only reason I knew it was from my family from overseas because they called me by my maiden name, which is Tara Sharp, and nobody calls me that now. So when I said, "Oh, that's my family. My family did."
That's not the first time your mama did that either.
Right. You know my mama gangster. You know she gangster. She would
had your mother knock on the door, tell my son.
She would call the president. She would call the president on you.
So I chopped you up and put you in bags.
Right. So
I love Mama Sharp though. I love Mama Sharp. So, I ain't mad at her. I laugh now. It's so funny, boy.
My mama give her right shoe for somebody to try. But I'm just saying in the sense of when we had that argument. From that day, I was like, I didn't know what was going to happen. Is that when we met Pastor Toll? I mean, we got in touch with him the next day or something like that?
Yeah, I think we talked to Pastor Toll then, and then we went and had discussions with him.
Right.
And everything like that, and it just got us on the right path. And then we went to Pastor Alonzo Smith, who sat us down, and the first thing he said is that we have to make a decision. Right. He said that
because I wasn't baptized yet.
He said that look, I don't care if you're Baptist, I don't care if you're Adventist, I don't care if you're Pentecostal, but you need to pick a religion. You need to pick one thing and stick to it. Right. And Tara at that moment, which shocked me, said, "I want to be Adventist," and like, really?
Right.
I remember saying it like yesterday. I looked at you like, and I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, I've been reading, and I really want because one thing I never did. During the 5 years of our marriage, because this is 2010, right? Was I never made Tara make a decision on being a Adventist. I never was like, you need to be a Adventist, you need to be this, you need to be that. Right. I just let her make a decision on her own. The reason why I did that more than anything else is because one thing the family always thought was that I was brainwashing her. Into being a Adventist, and I never once said to her that she has to be a Adventist. We just went to church, we come home. We went to church on Sunday, some days I came home. Right. At that time I was kind of off off and on too as an Adventist. I wasn't always, I was kind of practicing the right way. So, but when we talked to Pastor Smith and he told us that we need to make a decision, I think once we got baptized in March of 2010, because Sky was born in June.
Right.
Or was it April? It was somewhere right before you had the baby, because you was pregnant. You was pray. You was prego when you got in the
right.
It
may
be
the end stage of
June, July, June.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like April, May.
Right.
I think that's where it started, where our communication level really went to another level, because then we started to I think we became one.
Right.
In the sense of we was all on the same page, we was all understanding each other, and no matter what issues or problems we may have had, because we still had issues, we still have problems. Mm-hmm. It didn't take it away.
Right.
People think you get baptized, or people think you give your heart to the Lord, and all your problems go away. But I'm here to tell you, sometimes it gets
like
worse.
It came harder.
Yeah, it came worse for a little bit. We had a little real rough, tough talk. But I think being that we had our heart and our mind on God, it helped us so much during that time, and it came at the right time.
Right.
Because we wouldn't have been together if it wasn't for that.
Yeah. And
so then the communication just became, it just grew and grew and grew. And that's when I started to be able to tell you things and
right.
Express things of concern to you communication wise, and let you know what was going on and what was bothering me, even if sometimes you didn't listen and sometimes I didn't listen.
Right.
So we still had those issues of communication, but like I said, it's just a work in progress. It's just something you continually work with in a marriage.
Right.
We just continue to just grow and try to listen to each other and not always take offense. I think sometimes as people, when somebody gives you criticism, your first reaction is to be defensive.
Right.
And you don't have to be defensive sometimes in life. You know, sometimes the person's telling you out of love. Like God tells us things out of love. Right. He tells us what to do out of love. He's not telling us because he wants to hurt us. We tell this to our children. Well, I'm not telling you this to hurt you. I'm not telling this because, I want you to not succeed. I'm telling you this because I want you to be a better person. I want you to be a better person for yourself. I want you to be a better person for our kids. I want you to be a better person for me. And once your spouse understands that, communication becomes easier, because then they won't get so offended by what you're telling them at that time. Right. Because it's just like sometimes, they just, Tara tell you, I'll tell her straight. Like, hurt her feelings or not, I'll tell her straight. But she knows that I'm communicating that way because, number one, that's the only way I know how. Right. And I'm doing it out of love. I don't feel like beating around the bush. Right. Ty has a habit of like wanting to tell me a story before she gets to a point. I just say, could you get to the point? I don't need a background story.
Because I've been probably set on it for the day. So
so you're trying to figure out a way to break it to me easy. And I'm like, just tell me already. just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go. Right. Let's figure it out, and then we move on to the next subject. I mean, that's just the way I think.
Right. But the whole time that we was in Bermuda, though, we really grew so much, and I was just, from where we came from, living in the States, and how broken we was, leaving the States and then coming to Bermuda, totally changed our lives. It changed our lives for the better.
And then UK, you seem to adjust a little bit better here too, but again, I think because you lived in Bermuda all that time, UK has been a little bit easier. Yeah. But you're still adjusting. Yeah. You're still very skeptical of people.
Well, yeah, because the people here are different.
Yeah, well, it's a different culture.
Yeah, people. I don't have as many friends,
You have friends here.
Yeah, but I'm saying not like that I hang out with or something.
Well, that's because most of them are in London.
Yeah, so we need to move to London. But I'm just saying,
get a job when we can.
Communication. Whatever. Nah. My children and what I do right now is my job.
Oh, definitely, and I appreciate you for that because without that, I couldn't do half the stuff I do. Yeah. So I'm making light of it, but you know how I feel about that because I tell you all the time, you communicate to me the stress that you feel would not be able to contribute to this marriage
the way I want to in a financial way.
The way you want to, but it's not always about financially. It's about mentally. It's about our kids being well-rounded. Our kids would not be so well-rounded and loving and caring and just the good kids that they are if they didn't have their mother with them 24/7, right? To be home when they got home from school, to make sure they eat every night, to make sure they get up in the morning, you get up and make breakfast for them and things like that, and make lunch for them in the morning. I'm still asleep. I get up and I take them to school. I mean, that's just the routine we have. That's just the way it works. I put them to bed. So we all have our place in this marriage. But that's just how we communicated that with each other from the jump. So we knew what the parameters were before we even started.
Right. I mean,
okay, this is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm willing not to do.
Right. Being an at-home mom is, at first I found it to be hard, but now I'm like, now that I see the results of my children and how our family has really rounded in a spiritual way, being that nurturing mother that I try to be to them and for them, it's something that I'm still learning this day, to try to be a better mother, and how to, if I'm upset about something, even with them, to learn how to express myself in a way that they're not getting. Because sometimes I feel if I'm talking to them and I'm upset, I have to calm myself down, because then they reacting to how I'm reacting.
And I communicate that with you, because with me, it doesn't bother me, because I have thick skin. I just look at you like you're crazy and walk away. But the kids, it bothers them. So I say, Tara, you need to calm down.
Right.
Don't ever, out of anger, communicate to the kids. Communicate on an even tone, an even keel.
Right.
And then just take your time, take a deep breath, and then talk to them, because talking to them is the best thing that we could do. Again, that's communicating. So it's not just communicating marriage with each other, but it's also communicating with our children, with your children, anybody's children.
Right.
Communication is key in the marriage too. You need to communicate better with your children to make sure that they understand where you're coming from.
Right.
We believe in our family, communication is key, to the sense of that we tell them everything. Right. I've told my children about all my escapades when I was younger, when I was older. I have not told them everything, because I'm not crazy, but I have told them stuff that I've told them stuff that some parents would be like blushing and saying, "You really told your kids that?" And I'm like, yeah, because I want them to understand that they know where I'm coming from. I want them to understand that we make mistakes. That we make mistakes, but I'm still a better person for it now, because I learned over the years that if I had known half the stuff that my parents had done now, I may not have did some of the things that I did back then.
Right.
So I believe in telling them, so that when they get older, they could say, wait a minute, if I do this, this is what may happen.
Right.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that they're even going to think that, because at the time they may be thinking, with other parts of their body or other parts of their head, or just not thinking at all. But I just hope that God would impress on them, be like, look, you remember what your father, remember what your mama said back, when you was 11 or when you was 13 or 15 or however age they are, maybe you don't need to do that. So that's why I communicate with them about past relationships, past transgressions that I've had, past things that I've gotten in trouble with the police, with Tara, with my ex-wives. I don't really hold anything back with them, because I just feel communicating in that way is key also in the marriage, because it allows them to be well-rounded in our marriage. Because it's not just Tara and myself. We have the 3 kids that make up our marriage. Mm-hmm. And so with that, we all have to be on the same page. We all have to be under the same understanding in this marriage, because they are part of this marriage. And when you have kids, they never ask to be a part of it. They join because you made them. Well, God blessed you with them. So therefore, I think it's only right that they have an understanding about how the marriage is. Right. Plus, I'm hoping when they get older, it will teach them how to handle their marriage in a civilized and a better way than we did when we first got together. Right. And they won't have the same issues that we had, or the same problems that we had in the first years of our marriage. Right. Because I'll say, honestly, we've been married 16 years. Yeah. 10 of those were pretty rocky. Yeah, it was. 10 of those, definitely. We started to get good maybe right before you left Bermuda. Right. And when you left Bermuda, you shouldn't have left. But that's another story. Yeah. That's part of the testimony.
That's part of the testimony.
But I did communicate that with you. Right. Other people communicated that with you. Right. But you were stubborn. Yep. So you went, and I still did everything I had to do to make sure you were straight. Right. But we was right at that point of actually getting right. Mm-hmm. I think once we came here, the past 4 years have definitely been, so I'll say actually 12 years. So I'll say the last 4.5 years we've been here. Right. our marriage has been stronger than ever. I think,
Right.
and then I think with the pandemic happening,
That really- wow.
helped us with the communication, because then it allowed me, it opened up my avenue to be more communicative to you
Right.
and things, and to let you know what was going on, and to let you know this is what's happening, this is what's not happening, this is what we can do, this is what we cannot do.
Right. And learning to be around each other all the time, you know, it can be nerve wracking sometimes. But I say with the pandemic, we learning to have patience.
Yeah, because I was stuck around you, because I don't like being around you.
Long as I know you in the house, I'm good.
Yeah, whatever. I like
Yeah.
going to work.
Yeah.
Work is my safe haven.
Right.
When I go to work, I get peace and quiet. You already know how I feel about that.
Right.
I don't got
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
saying, "Can I have some cereal? Can I have some juice? Can I have this?"
That's
No.
24/7. Okay.
Yeah,
So.
whatever. Mhm.
Tina on. Hi, Tina.
Yeah, I saw Tina. Deja's on too. Hi, Deja.
Hi, Deja.
Sonia. Hey, Sonia. And Miss Norma.
Oh, Theo said he waiting on us to come to London.
Dude, get us a job and we'll come. We'll get Tara a job and we'll come. We need to get in with the Aventus. We need to get with the Aventus community
Yeah.
in London so we can get a place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Theo? You know
Yeah,
what I'm
he does.
saying?
He
You know,
does.
I'm saying it in an indirect way, but a direct way.
Right.
Yeah. But
Hi, Sonia.
but she said, "Hey, how's those grandchildren? I know they're getting big."
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, communication has really been a big thing for us. That's really has gotten better.
Yeah, definitely,
Mm-hmm.
definitely over the years, definitely. And the thing is that when we was in Bermuda, nobody knew the troubles. If they only knew the times we had miscommunication and you had to get up there to sing.
Right.
And I don't know if that helped you sing better.
No, you know what it was? One time I had to sing in church, at Somerset Church, and we had just had an argument, like
I remember.
before
Yeah.
we left home, and I
I dropped you off at the front of the church.
Man, you
and
dropped me off. I said, just
I almost probably
I was
pulled off
like-
before you even got out the car.
I was like,
I think I almost pulled off before you got out the car.
I was like, let me out this car. And I jumped out because I said, I'm late anyway, because we was always late on Sabbath morning.
why? Because you had to do your hair.
Well, at that time, I didn't have locks. So anyway, moving on. So by the time I'm running in, you know, having to sing a solo that day was like, all I could think about is our argument. But when I tell you God was in the midst, I started singing, and all of it that just kind of went. And so once that church, I think it was good we went to church, because once we got home, we
You
was
think?
able to.
Oh, you know.
Well, I know, but once we
Okay.
got home, we looked at each other and we sat and we talked, and I was like, "Look, I said what I said. You said what you said. You know, let's just move on." Because we always had people over
Hey,
at our
moving
house.
on. You get on my nerves, woman.
We always had people over at our house, but if people only knew half the time, sometimes we have arguments and I have to sing or have to do something, how sometimes your mind don't always be there, because people go through stuff and you don't always see it. Pastors, preachers, singers, whoever, you know what I'm saying? You'll never know what people are going through that moment, you know, when you're up there. And man, listen, that's why I know we have. Hi, Corey.
Oh, Tanya said she missed her grandchildren.
I know
No,
she do. I know she do.
Hey, Corey, I miss you guys too, man. What's going on, man?
Yeah. So
You're doing your thing over in Atlanta, right? Yeah, I think you're over in the U.S. somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Norma Smith, she said hello. Hi.
Hi.
But yeah,
Norma's so sweet.
yeah.
I remember. Didn't you win a year's free internet or something at the Anthony Brown concert or some concert I was with you with? I can't remember, but yeah.
Yeah.
I was just talking about. It's funny, like we talk about you guys all the time. That's how much we miss Bermuda.
Yeah.
I would say one thing when it came like our communication coming here to the UK. I miss Bermuda. I miss my friends. I miss everybody there because we loved you guys. You was all so cool. But I think when we moved to the UK, we had that same expectation, and it was not there
It wasn't.
at all. And I think that
Zero.
and
I mean,
think-
connecting with the
I
people
think
here was different.
That's why our communication got better too, because we had no choice but to communicate to each other because we had nobody else to talk
I
to.
say it was more. I say it's more the people in the north that the north up in UK that we have more hard for us to connect with them. But the people more in London, we connected with them more on it was a different type of connection. You know, we connect with them better. Do you think so?
I know so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them, and some of the people from the north that we know are going to see this, but
Well, you know what?
my
This
cousin's
is
calling me from London.
listen. This is raw. Okay, this is raw.
No.
conversation.
I'm not saying nothing against them. I'm just saying we just don't have that connection that we like. We went to London a couple of weeks ago, and we were down there the week, and it was just a feel we had when we saw some of the friends down in London was totally different than what we see up here.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. It's just what it is, you know.
Yeah. Maybe we should move on. Oh no, you didn't. Oh yes, we did, Sheldon. Corey.
Oh please, Sheldon. Yes, Sheldon and Bolton. That's our buddy. That's our family. Yes, we didn't forget about
We
you.
weren't talking about you
We're
guys.
not talking about you guys. Get off your feelings, man. Sheesh, whatever.
Corey said this ministry is awesome. Glad you guys are doing it. Yes, you know this is something that we decided to do. I said, Pedro, when are we going to go on and just talk about stuff? And he was like, whatever. So I said, let's do it today. So I made a little poster, and actually, our friend Sheldon that's here, he had actually asked me like, what about a couple of days ago, when you guys going to do something? And we finally, I said, let's do it. I thought about it and said, you never know. You never know who we helping in the process, right, babes?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm texting Rika to let her know that we're on Facebook to come on.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah.
See, that's communication. I'm letting her know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
In the past, I'd say, "Look, I'm just doing something. Leave me alone."
Right.
But yeah, definitely. I think that's more than anything that I think. See, God puts you in places sometimes where you have no choice but to do things that you feel uncomfortable and take you out of your comfort zone. And I think moving to the UK definitely took us both out of our comfort zone.
Right.
Because even adjusting here in the UK was hard for me because I'm gonna be real. I've never seen so many white people in my life. I'm just going to get it and say it.
Well, that's up this way.
Growing up in New York, up
More
here.
up this way, yeah.
Growing up in New York and Bermuda and Alabama, and you see white people. You see the rednecks in their trucks
You
with the
can't say
guns.
redneck
Why not?
because it's not. It's
Okay, politically correct. You see the
people of different
the
color.
trailer people,
the couple of the
the Caucasians.
no, just people of different races. Different
Okay,
races.
I apologize.
Oh, my goodness.
Listen, I don't mean it in a bad way, but you see the folks of different ethnicities in their trucks with their guns hosted on the back, and in their overalls and their toothpick, and but then got over here and was like, I saw no black folk. The only black folk we like, because over here, folks, in the UK, what we would say is a Muslim, they say is Asian, so we had to get used to that, and then it was just different. It was just a different communication. It was just a different culture here, totally.
No, one thing I noticed when we out and we see
Black folks.
we see black people.
Yeah, everybody be happy to see another
we
black
look at each
folk.
other like, oh my goodness, there's another black.
Be like,
person.
what's up? Yo, what's up? You almost want to, before COVID, want to run over to him and be like, give him a pound and stuff.
A hug or something.
Except for we went to that one black church. That was weird.
Yeah.
We went to that one African church.
Yeah.
That was some freakiness right there. I'll never go back to that church again. I ain't gonna say the name of the church, but Lord, they was touching on the children's hair like they never seen hair like that before.
Okay, moving on.
I'm sorry, what? It's the truth. It was weird. I was like, we need to get out this church before we get molested or something. So I'm sorry. I'm being honest.
That's my cousin Donna.
That's your cousin?
cousin
Thank
Donna. Yeah. Pedro, Pedro is unfiltered. He don't care.
Whatever.
They gonna take
Thank you,
us
Miss
off.
Bender. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your kind words.
You met her a long time ago.
I'm not telling you what church, Kristen. No, I'm not. Kristen, don't be texting me on my phone. Text the chat. Don't text me on my phone. Ask me what church. Yeah, I blew you up like that. You should have known I was going to do that. Don't even do that. Anyway, yeah, I'm not taking it. That's right. Because we don't even say Washington Redskins anymore. We say Washington team. Yeah, I forgot. Okay.
Pedro, you got to do better. You got to
Do
watch
what?
the words you say.
What words? I'm not saying
Look,
nothing.
I coach Pedro
I'm
before
the
we do
least.
things.
I'm the least racist person in the world. I don't care who. I don't care if you're purple, blue, black, or green. I don't care. A person's a person.
Pedro, can I talk, please?
No.
Depending on where we go, I had to be like, look, Pedro, you have to behave. You can't watch what you say. Number one, and don't say everything. And then most times I have to give him the eye, like.
Don't work.
What are you doing?
Don't work. Because once somebody just put when he starts, yes.
Theo did.
Yep. When I start, that's it. I ain't stopping. You darn right. I'm not stopping.
When we out places, sometimes I have to be like, Pedro, like, you know better.
What? Like when we got on the bus in Bolton, and those people were kicking, and I was like, "What's that smell?"
And I was
they
like,
was all sitting there acting like there was no smell. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be
could have put
honest.
us off the bus. And
They didn't gonna put us off the
listen,
bus. There was a smell.
how long I had been in the
Look,
UK
You
when that
could've-
happened?
You almost passed
Not
out
even
from
a
the
week.
smell. You had almost passed out. You was like, "Oh, my allergies. Oh, my thing. Oh, my that." I'm like, let's walk. We got off the bus and walked, didn't we? We ended up getting off the next stop and walk.
Because my allergies started acting up because they were stanky.
Listen, I just believe in being. I want people to be real with me, and I'll be real back. That's all I say.
Listen,
That's right, Corey. I'm being true to the word. That's right.
For some reason, maybe it's just a culture thing. For sometimes they don't. I don't know if they believe in baths.
No, but it's not even that. You know what
deodorant.
Corey just said. You know what? Being true to the word. And Corey knows me from back in Bermuda. I haven't changed not one. It's not like I changed when I came here. It's not like I changed when I went to Bermuda. I was the same. I've always been the same person. I think that's why sometimes. I think that's. You know what? I just thought about that. I think that's why communicating. I've communicated too strongly sometimes. I think sometimes that
Tell
up
them-
north,
No,
I've been
Pedro,
too.
what
I've
is-
been too. What's the word? I've been too raw for the people in the north, and they don't know how to handle
Tell
it.
them about the first time when you first got your first job here. When you was working at that
Oh,
home.
when I told the lady, no,
Yes.
not the home in the hospital,
No, you was working in a group home or something.
and I told them that they're abusing the elderly.
No, in Middleton. When you worked at,
That's not even worth discussing. That's not even worth discussing.
whatever. Them people didn't know what was coming.
See, you know what? For once, I'm actually filtering myself, because if I don't, I'm really gonna get in trouble. Because then again, people gonna think I'm being, different things that I'm not.
Okay,
'Cause
so
this has
okay,
nothing
let's
to
move
do.
on.
This has
Let's
nothing
move
to
on.
do with that exactly. But now you got me off my thing.
Theo said encourage him.
I don't need no encouragement. Trust me. She has to slow me
I
down
pray for Pedro daily, okay? All day.
all day, every day.
Listen.
That's why I love you. Look at her blush. Ah!
Oh my goodness. ooh, look. I got a little tear. Whatever.
What you doing out here? I'm doing it down here banging on stuff. Sit there and be quiet.
Not me.
It is you. I can see over there. You're not invisible.
Yeah.
Is the future you? Okay. All
Oh
right.
my goodness.
But yeah, like, so, it's funny because I didn't even think of it like this till you brought this up. But communication in our marriage it's so many different types of communication. It's just so broad. And first, it's just with each other, but it's just so broad and just communicating in every single.
I just know one
facet.
thing. I really try to not go to bed. Try to go to bed not angry. I try to make sure we had a good space. So when we lay down at night, hopefully, God willing, we able to see each other again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you hold on to that anger while you sleeping, I know for me, I can't sleep.
I can sleep like
And
a
I'm
baby.
waking you up like, Pedro, let's talk about
I'll be
this.
sleep like a baby. I'll be knocked out.
And you be just sitting over there.
You know why? Because I don't go to bed mad. Because see, this is the thing. This is what I'm talking about. See, we have a disagreement. It's called a disagreement. We're not going to agree. You're your own person. I'm my own person. We're not always going to agree with the conversation or agree with the opinion or the situation that we are in.
Bye,
But I'm
Corey. He leaving now. See ya.
Bye,
Thank
Corey, and thanks for
coming in.
joining us. Hope you join us next time.
Yeah.
Say hi to the family for us.
Please do. Your wife and children.
Yes, please. Your sister joined.
Yeah.
I think communication. I forgot my thought. Oh yeah, communication. Like I said, is I don't be mad at you like that. I really try not to. You know how I am. I can sit there. Go sit down. I can sit there and tell you off, and then 5 minutes later come back and give you a hug, and put my hand in your lap, and you're like, "What the heck you doing?"
Yeah,
I'm
watch
like,
your
what-
language.
I said, "What the heck you doing?" H-E-double-L.
No, it sounded like you said.
I was about to say,
Well, it sounded like you-
but I was about to say, and then
I'm
I
just saying, it
stopped.
sounded like you was gonna cuss.
That's not a curse word.
It is a cuss word.
No, that's like, don't get me started with that now. Don't get me started because
Wait a minute.
DAMN
I was
is
about-
not a curse
that's
word.
what I was
But
about to
you
say.
in the South,
I
but
was
you in
about
the
to
South
say-
think that word is a curse word.
I was
It's
about
not.
to say it's Sabbath.
It's not Sabbath yet. You're way off. Excuse me.
The day Sunday.
Actually, I'm gonna keep it. excuse my language, but damn is not a curse word.
Yes,
and neither
it
is
is.
hell.
Yes,
No, it's
it is.
not. That's a southern
Depending
thing.
on how you say it.
That's
in-
a southern
in the context
thing.
is- okay, even though, moving on.
That's a southern thing.
Okay.
Whatever. I will stick to that. We'll never agree to that.
Okay.
We haven't. See, that's a
But this is
disagreement.
what I'm trying to tell you. I don't want to. We have to be careful what we model to our children, then don't we?
I don't say it in front of the kids that much.
Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm so sick of you.
Sit and be still.
Kaya, go upstairs, please.
You and your mama. Go upstairs.
I'm counting 1,
I want to spin.
2.
No, you're not going to.
I'm counting. I'm on 2, 3.
I said to you. I said to you. I said to you.
Up the stairs.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Wait, can I just get that thing?
Up the stairs.
I just get something.
What?
Like, you just get over.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
This is why I don't want girls.
We gotta put
if
a
y'all
lock-
got girls.
Lock on the door. Which
So
is
do you cut half the world of damnation? What? I'm not understanding that question.
say that. What do you mean, Sheldon?
But like I said, it's, you can talk forever about communication.
Oh, he was saying also hell is a noun.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm
It's a
saying.
bad
Exactly.
word. Okay.
Exactly. It's not a bad word.
Okay.
People want to say HE double hockey sticks. Come on, just say the word.
Okay. I'm just saying.
You know what the heck? 4 letters, but different. But like I said, just always communication is always key in anything.
I say in any relationship.
In any relationship, and communication, not even in marriage, but communication in anything, with your friends, with your family, with anything. I believe. Well, that's what I was saying. I think that the way I communicate,
You're right, Sheldon.
in the way I communicated, yes, it is. Was a donkey. You said an animal was actually a donkey, but yes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that word because
I'm
I
not
will
gonna say it
get in trouble. You're trying to get me in trouble, Sheldon. You better stop that.
Bleep bleep. Yep.
But I was, I think the way I communicate can be a little rough sometimes, and I do admit that. And I think that's why it rubs some people the wrong way, especially up here in the north, because they seem to be not really more sensitive. They just seem to be more conscious,
People are sensitive, period, though, isn't it?
or more not want to hurt other people's feelings. Where it's not that I don't want to hurt other people's, and we had the discussion on a while back.
Right.
Not that I don't want to hurt other people's feelings. I just believe that if you're just real to yourself and to people,
Right.
and you communicate that way, then everybody know where you are.
Right.
That's what I was talking about earlier about. My communication has always been very straightforward wherever I live. U.S., Bermuda, here. I don't think I've changed at all in that sense.
Right.
I probably have changed a little bit here where I don't communicate as harsh. I've learned to communicate better with you. I think in the past, as we talked about that, in the past when we communicated, if you came at me hard, I would come back at you hard.
Harder.
Yeah, or harder. And because I'm a guy, it was always rougher. So I've learned to be more, which is weird because now that I'm softer about it, you make fun of me.
No, you know, and sometimes I'll be suspecting for you to be that old person when I see that you have changed. You're a whole new person now. And I guess I'm still adjusting.
Well, it's been years. When are you going to adjust? Thank you. You can't even respond. Like, when are you going to adjust? I've shown over the years, not just years, that I'm not going to respond that way. And that's where it comes where I was talking about earlier, that you can't always think. I think sometimes we have this conception of people and we think that they're going to respond a certain way. And so we don't say things. And that's what your communication now, that's what we're still working on. That's what you don't communicate sometimes.
That's true.
Because you think that I'm going to respond like I did in 2009.
That's true.
When we first moved to Bermuda.
Right.
Or when we first got married.
Right.
Or, 2012 or whatever. You don't look at how I respond now. You don't give me a chance to show that I can respond in a better way.
That's true.
And I think that communication, that's where the communication can break down. And I'll say that to you. I'll say, Todd, if you don't give me a chance to show you, how am I supposed to show you?
Well, I have to be willing to
Right,
be
that's
able
on
to
you.
see you in that way.
But why not?
That I don't know. I don't know. But that's okay. God is working on me in it. He's working on me. What did Theo say, Peter?
He said, most of my friends up north are worse than you. You're just not met them yet. Who told you go so deep in north? LOL. Hey, you know what? No, we didn't pick it. Actually, Theo, we didn't pick this. It was God brought me here. I swear it was because, like Tyler said, you have to realize something. When I left Bermuda, I got in trouble.
We got to talk about it on
And
testimony.
we'll talk about it in the testimony. I got in trouble, but I didn't really leave Bermuda because of that. I left Bermuda because I just felt that there was nothing more there for me besides my friends, but I just felt we needed a change. Tara had left and moved to the U.S., and I was by myself, and it made me go into a deep depression. And like I said, that's another testimony in itself. But when I moved here, I lived in Leicestershire for a month in an Airbnb, and then God blessed me to find a place in Bolton. And I only did that because some friends of ours were supposed to move to Bolton, but they never did. And then I decided, you know what? I started working in Huddersfield because God blessed me to meet somebody who never even met me before in their life, named Radcliffe Shakes and Sarah Shakes. And the pastor came up to me and said, because Ty wasn't here yet.
Wait a minute. Who had introduced you to her? It was Penny.
Yeah, Penny introduced
Penny
me.
Steed.
Yeah, Penny Steed.
David,
Yeah, David's Pastor Steed's
Sister.
Sister, who unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
She introduced me to them, and actually introduced me to Sarah. Sarah didn't know me from a hole in the wall, and she said, "What do you do?" And I said, well, "I'm a phlebotomist, healthcare, ECG tech."
Right.
She was like, "All right." She went to her husband, said to her husband, "Look, I just met this young man in church, blah, blah, blah. You need to get him a job at the hospital." And he went to his boss, like I said, didn't know me from Adam, and talked to his boss. And the boss said, because the boss loved him so much, I mean, not in that way, but just in a way of just loved him in a platonic way,
Right.
had me come and interview. And one thing God has always blessed me with is the gap of talking
Definitely.
and interviewing. I could that's another testimony. I could tell you stories about that, about how I got jobs just because I could talk. And I went in, I just sold myself, and she loved me. And I started driving from Bolton back and forth, and it was just so much that I said, look, we got to move closer. So we went on, we was looking for places. And believe it or not, I know God brought us here because we've been looking to move now, and we can't find anything. And
It's just like
when
God
we
saying
wasn't
no.
when we wasn't looking
Right.
for this place here, it just popped up on Gumtree. And then I came over, saw the place. Todd didn't like it because it was still in construction.
Right.
And I said to look, you got to look at the outside. You got to just look at what it could be like.
Right.
And we moved here, and that's how we ended up in the north.
Right.
And that's why we've been here for so long, for 4 years now.
Yep. But I think when it's time for us to move further south, God is going to open
God
up
will
that
open the doors. I
opportunity.
always tell you that. I say
Yeah.
God will open the doors when the time comes. I always communicate this to Tara, is that I just believe God will direct us in the way that we need to go and everywhere we need to do. Everything I have done in my life mostly has been based on, I admit I've done some things where I wanted to do it, but when it comes to things like this, I let God lead, because I could force us and move to London, and then next thing you know, we're like in debt and we're struggling again and things like that. And since being in Halifax, God has really blessed us and been with us, and just in so many ways blessed our marriage
Right.
and our communication and our relationship with him and our relationship with each other and our children, and just totally has opened up doors and opened up ways that we never thought was even possible.
Right.
So with that in mind, I just know that that this is definitely, the communication has definitely been better because of it.
Right.
And I'm just thankful that we was able to, to get into that space that we are now when it comes to communication.
Right.
And like I said, he was still learning, because like we just learned,
Right.
that Tyler still has a problem communicating somewhat, because she thinks I'm still going to react to old Pedro.
But that goes to like our testimony that we're going to share.
Yeah.
Probably in our next show.
And our next show, because Dio said I can't wait to hear.
We're going to talk about our testimony in our next show.
Bye, Norma. Have a good day at work.
Thank you so
be
much
safe
for tuning
out
in.
there, and as a nurse, be safe and well. Take care of yourself and your patients and your coworkers.
Yep.
And we'll be praying for you as always.
But yeah, so in our next show, we are going to talk about our testimonies and the things we went through. It's very, it got some dark moments, and it got some some light moments.
Most of my testimony is dark. I don't think I have any good.
It's got some good moments.
My good moments when God took me out of the darkness, but most of it is dark.
But either way, we're going to talk about that because we're not afraid to share because we never know who we helping.
I'm not afraid to share at all. Actually, probably overshare.
So yeah. So we'll talk about that in our next. So I'll make a post about it, and yeah. And
probably in a couple of weeks because next weekend we have a birthday party.
Yeah, next weekend we're going to be away.
So
maybe the next following weekend.
Koa.
Yeah. Koa. But we will post and let you guys know because we really want to share that. And
you don't have to do it on Sunday. We can do it another day,
Yeah, I mean.
Sunday's probably the best time.
Yeah, because people really.
Let us know what you guys think. When is the best time to do it?
When would be the best time for us to do another show, guys? Let us know. Would it be during the week? Would it be on the weekend? Definitely not on Sabbath because Sabbath I dedicate all my rest time to that.
And I'm very fortunate that I'm doing a program Talking Points on Facebook with Pastor Ray A. Patrick.
So tune in there at 5 o'clock,
5 to 7 on Ray Patrick Facebook.
That's right.
We talk about real things. Vintage Radio London for those, the app. I'm doing a little plug-in right now. But it's really a good show, guys. The funny thing, getting off the communication for a minute, the funny thing about that is that I never thought that I would actually do something like this. And because I'm, as much as I like to talk under cover, as they say. I'm not yeah. So this is now has brought me out into the open.
Right.
And it's not an easy thing because doing radio is very hard. But I'm learning to adjust to it. I think more than anything, sometimes I find when we're doing certain shows that it hits home sometimes. It affects me that I lose my place in my mind.
Right.
Because I'm thinking about my testimony and thinking about where I've been. And then the pastor asked me a question. And I'm like, so it's like, but I think I'm learning and I'm getting better. I'm hoping I'm getting better at it. I'm hoping that I can
be a
better place in the future. But I really am enjoying the opportunity that they gave me. My co-hosts, Angela and, oh my goodness, her name will lose me at the moment. Xenia. Yeah. But like I said, join us every Sabbath evening, 5 p.m. UK time on Ray Patrick Facebook Live, or Vintage Radio. You'll hear us live from 5 to 7, where we're doing the same thing we're talking about now. We'll talk about real things. We talk about abuse, addiction, church, family, relationships, religion.
Yeah.
We talk about everything, and it's really good program, and I think it can bless somebody. So I just wanted to put that out there.
So our next show, let us know, guys, if this Sunday.
Hi, Carmelita.
Hi, Carmelita. Let us know if Sunday worked for you guys, because we really would like to share it with as many people as we can, and to just get it out there, just to share our testimony. I think it's important. God gave us these mouths and tongues and teeth to share. So that's one thing I really want to do. Right, babes?
Maybe we can have more light next time, because I look like I'm in the dark.
Pedro, you light skinned, you gonna show either way. So anyway, moving on.
Just because your teeth only in that show, don't talk.
But yeah. So God, I think we kept you guys too long. What do you think?
Actually, no. On the Facebook is actually light, because I can see on the computer looks dark, but over here is light, so it's not too bad.
So guys, we didn't kept you guys too long tonight. So the main thing, guys, just pray and ask God to help you guys through your marriage, through your relationships, friendships, to open up that communication and to just talk and just say how you feel without holding back. Yeah,
so we're gonna go back to
and never go to bed angry.
Oh, I did want to bring one more thing about communication. Communication is always good, but communication is always good between two people and not everybody else.
Right.
One thing we learned over the years is that you do not communicate to your family about any issues or problems that you're having. Right. Keep it to yourself. If you and your wife or you and your husband cannot work it out, then guess what? It just won't work.
Right.
Don't ever bring in an outside influence for communication, because that would just totally disrupt the communication that you have between your husband and your wife.
Yeah.
Because what ended up happening is that, say if Tara went and told her mother something, then the mother will hold that against me and not like me. And if she already don't like me, makes it even worse. And the same thing goes for me. If I
Right.
tell my mother something,
Right.
oh, Tara did this, Tara did that, then, then it's the same concept of that, what we do to each other, which is even though I'm different now, she still remembers me how I was. And so sometimes, like trigger words, and that's what it is.
It's just
trigger
different
words.
triggers,
If I move a certain way, or if I say a certain thing, or if I just stand up suddenly, or if I just walk away suddenly, sometimes I think that triggers my wife to think that I'm going to react the same way I have in the past, but I
Right.
won't. And the funny and the sad part is that I don't even get mad at her, because I know what it is scary, because she just hopes that it doesn't come back. And no matter how much it may not come back, or that the person's different, and we're communicating better now.
Right.
The past always haunts us on the things that we have seen or what we have done.
Right.
And then you sit there and you're just like, man, even like with Tara, when I've learned when she used to get emotional, I used to just get so frustrated. But now I just realized that that's just my wife. My wife is very emotional. Like I said earlier, she'll shoot first, ask questions later.
Right.
So she can shoot all day long. I'll take the hits, and then I'll come back and say, look, and she knows this to be true. I won't even come back that same day. So I'll communicate a day later, or even God has a strange way. Sometimes we'll get an argument, and we're not mad at each other, but we're just not happy with each other. And then like a day later, or 2 days later, something will happen where something will happen. The same thing she got mad at me will happen to her, and then I'll react this totally different way, and I'll say, the way you reacted earlier, like a day or two ago, I really didn't like it. And then we're able to sit down and have a healthy dialogue of the
Right.
communication of what happened. And it's just weird, because it always happens that way.
Yeah.
Never fails. It always happens that way. And that's how we communicate sometimes.
Right.
And like I said, it's just, so keep the communication between yourself,
Right.
but always know and understand, and always know and understand, and always agree to disagree, because
Yeah.
we're not the same person.
Right.
Tara is totally different from me. I'm totally different from Tara, and we love each other. Mm-hmm. I hope.
Of course.
I don't know. Sometimes
Really?
I wonder. But anyway, like I said, I know that we're different. So you just have to learn to compromise. And that's where I think it's not really being submissive. I think it's more just compromising.
Right.
I don't need you to be submissive. I just need you to compromise.
You need to be submissive in something.
No, I don't need you to be. I really don't. I want you to. We've had arguments, and we've had discussions, and I've said something to you, and all I want you to say is okay. That's it. That's all I want you to just say, okay, or yes, or no. That's it, and I'm happy.
Right.
I don't need the whole other stuff that you bring into the conversation.
Right.
And I tell you, you'll go on and on and on, and I say, why could you just say okay? But I didn't want to say okay, because that's not what I was feeling. Remember those words? That's just, okay,
there you go.
Thank you.
Holding on to the past.
I'm not holding on to the past. I'm being honest.
Oh my goodness.
Whatever.
Move on.
So, like I said, and more than anything else, we communicate with God, and with God, communication is key, and that will be the main purpose of communication in a marriage and in a relationship, and in anything that you have to do, work wise, children wise, family wise,
Yep.
friends wise. I didn't realize, as I'm thinking, like, communication is such a broad spectrum of things.
Yeah.
And
It's long.
Yeah, and we I was looking up, well, I know about this already, but we communicate to assist each other, not to bring each other down. You communicate to uplift each other, but not to break each other down.
Right.
And if we all understand that, then the communication is always pure and true, and you have a good line of communication. And that goes in anybody's relationship.
Right.
Because you can always have good, healthy communication if you put God first in everything that you do. And I say this because I just like people to know this. That I believe in God, I love God, and I know He's coming again. And I just give all praises to Him, and I just thank God that He had allowed us to get to where we are when it comes to communication.
Right.
And without God in our lives, we would not be communicating as we are right now,
Definitely.
or holding this banter, or holding this live program, or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
or this live discussion,
Right.
talking about it. So that's pretty much all I got to say. Now you can talk. Sorry.
So since Pedro said what he said, we're just going to go with that. And we're going to talk to you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Right, babes?
Yes. So I was reading a thing.
All right. You want to pray us out?
No. Sure.
Okay.
But again, like Todd said, I just want to thank you guys
And we
for
got to put
joining
the
us.
kids in the bed. It's 8:44.
I know.
Okay.
I know. That's my job.
Okay.
You get them up, I put on the bed.
Okay.
You bring them up, I knock them out.
Okay.
That's our job. But I just want to thank you guys again for joining us on this what do you want to call it? Not a podcast, just a live feed or a live just talk. Let's talk.
Just talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want you guys to thank you so much for joining us.
We love you guys.
In the future, more comments the better. We don't mind.
Right.
We're gonna
Ask
go
questions.
in future. We want questions because we like to answer questions.
Yeah.
If you have a question or a concern,
Yep.
we won't even say if you have my number. I'll put my number out there. You can text me,
Yeah.
and I can read the questions off air. I can read the questions on air without putting a name to it.
Right.
We was just teasing with Sheldon because that's old family of ours, and
Yeah.
from Bermuda. So we was blowing them up only because hopefully they won't get upset.
We love them.
We love them, but they already know how we are, so I don't think
Yeah.
they don't express no other way.
Oh, my cousin said Sunday's good for her. Love the advice.
Yep,
That is so true.
it's funny. I actually had that verse in my phone. I was looking
Wow.
up, and I actually had that
Thank you,
verse
cousin.
in my phone, and I was looking at it. Yeah,
So I guess we'll stick with Sundays, babe.
yeah. Sundays be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like in Ephesians 5:25, it says, "For husbands, this means love your wives, just as Christ loved the church. He gave up his life for her." So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's very true because I love you as much as
I
anything.
love
and
you
would,
too, sugar.
plumpy. Oh, juicy. I haven't said that in a while.
Okay, moving on. Oh my goodness, you may be children on this line. What's wrong with you?
I'm not saying nothing. Shit. Whatever.
The next thing is gonna come some juicy fruit.
Juicy fruit. I wanted to get a license plate, didn't I?
We supposed to be praying. You know what? You the most.
I'm not the most.
Okay. Anyway,
Oh, and last verse. I think it's Genesis 2:24. Where it said, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother, and hold fast to his wife, and they should become one flesh."
that's right.
And with that, the communication is key.
That's
and
right.
that's how you communicate. Like I said, don't communicate outside.
This just our opinion. We just talking.
Yeah, everything expressed on this is our sole opinion, and the solely opinion of Tara and Pedro Goddard.
That's it.
And I didn't put your name first. I was supposed to put my name first. Anyway, Pedro and Tara got it.
Cause he know who run this.
You're right. You do run it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. But anyway,
Oh my God.
what? That's an old phrase. That's an old New York phrase. This don't mean nothing. That means I'm trying to get some food. That means I'm trying to get.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
Where your mind at?
Lord.
Lord have mercy. Come down on us. Anyway, don't mean nothing.
Oh my
Whatever.
goodness.
Anyway, like I said, but yeah. Anyway. All right. On that note, we can't leave on that note. We gotta talk about something else.
No, we have to pray now.
Yeah, but we can't leave on a squirrel and a nut note. We can't.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, but like I said, yes.
Oh my goodness.
I guess
Oh my
my
goodness.
last
Ooh.
saying words would be just keep God first,
That's right.
keep God 2nd, keep God third, and your marriage will survive, and your marriage will be fine.
That's
And
right.
communicate with each other, and only in each other,
Jesus, take the
what's that?
wheel.
What's
That's
you-
right.
you-
Theo.
that's what I was trying to think of that phrase. What you said?
What?
You put that up on Facebook before. Where he says, "Not everybody needs to know your business. Sometimes what
I
you
said
do in
it's okay
silence."
to move in silence.
Yeah, it's okay to move in silence.
Mm-hmm.
You don't always have to let people know what you're doing.
You,
don't
everybody
gotta-
you don't have to
and
let
believe
what
me,
your
we
right
know.
hand know what your left hand doing, as if your left hand is your right hand.
Oh,
It's the
trust
same
me, we
thing.
know this because of, like I said, during our testimony, we'll talk about it more. But
But our next show, is it going to be on the testimony?
yeah, I think we
Okay,
should do
so
that next. Yeah, I
our
think
next
people
show
gonna
will be. I will put a post up, guys. So look out. Won't be this week, but it's going to be maybe the following.
Yeah.
we will let you know, but it's going to be some.
It's gonna be 2 weeks because unfortunately, well, no, we may be back in time.
Yeah,
We'll let you know.
we'll let
put
you
it on
guys know.
Facebook
I
and
will
let you know.
post, but
Yeah.
tune in, guys. This is going to be deep.
Oh yeah, yeah. I wouldn't. Well, you can let your children listen, but I don't know. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's gonna be deep. And I'm not saying that to be funny or you saying
Yeah,
it to
but we're
be
serious.
boastful, but I'm just being honest. It's gonna be
We've been
deep
dead. We've been dead
because,
serious.
as you already know, I'm not got a filter, so I probably will be very. Tyler will be saying a lot, hush, or I can't believe you said that to me a lot.
All right.
Yeah, but anyway, like I
Pray
said.
us out, Pedro, for like
Yes,
100
all right.
times.
No, for the 105th time? Okay.
Yes.
Why you counting? Now you counting. You always say I count, now you counting.
Okay, let's pray.
Okay, hold on. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for bringing us together just to have this healthy dialogue about communication and marriage. We want to thank you, Lord, for bringing us into a healthy place that you have brought myself and Tara. And hopefully that our conversation may help somebody else to help their marriage or help their relationship to be better and stronger in you. We ask that, God, that you continue to bless us, continue to watch over us, continue to keep us healthy during this pandemic, continue to be with those who are suffering, those who have to work every day in the stress that is that of the pandemic. And just not just a pandemic, but other things in life of illness, sickness, because we always forget because of the pandemic that we forget about the other things that are ailing us and making us ill. But I just thank you, Lord, that you have watched over us and kept us well so far. Continue to be with us during this week. Everybody that's listening, anybody that will listen to this program on their own afterwards, after the fact, we ask that you allow them to have a good week. Come down and bless them. Come down and be with them. Be with us all in everything we do and say. Let the Lord shine on us so bright that other people will see your good works in us and that they will wonder why we're so happy and why we're so joyful. And we just want to say thank you again for your love and your mercy, and be with us again until you come. This I pray in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys. Oh, now your mama got on at the last minute.
Oh, did she?
Hey, Pastor. Hey, Elder Kelvin. I was just thinking
Hi,
about
Pastor Kevin.
you. Hey, Pastor
Thank you.
Kelvin. How
I
you
listened
doing?
to your service today. It was really good.
I didn't have a chance to. I'm sorry. I was on the road to Nottingham, but I do listen from time to time. But you can always call. You got my number still. You forgot it. Maybe I need to call and give it back to you.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't start. Let's go.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your words, your kind words, and everything.
And if you missed it, you can always go back and rewatch and replay this.
Yes, yes. And
All
we
right,
pray that
guys.
everybody have a blessed day. Enjoy your week, and
Blessings.
blessings.
My mama just got home. Mom, go back and watch it again. You and Johnny. All right.
Take care.
Take care. Take care.
All right, guys. Love you guys. Have a
Bye-bye.
good day. Peace.